Hello, third grade. It's Miss Hazel here, and today we're going to work on finding fractions on our number line. So our learning target for today is I can find fractions on a number line. Here's our first number line, and your job is to find two different fractions. Right here we have 6/3 and 8/3. So I'm looking at my number line here, and I see that instead of starting at 0, we're starting with 1. And we go up to 3. That's our last point on the number line. So what I'm going to do to help myself is remember that this denominator here tells us how many parts we have in one whole. So when we have this number 1, we have one whole, or one object. I'm going to draw one object. Now I see that we have 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts. So we're working with thirds, and I can tell that's also true here from my denominators. So one whole is just like this, thirds. In one whole, we have 1, 2, 3 thirds. I'm gonna label this here because I like to label the fractions that go with my whole numbers. That's what I like to do. So now I'm looking at my other whole numbers. I have number 2. So I'm drawing my 2 wholes, splitting them into thirds. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4, 5, 6. 6/3. I'm seeing a pattern here. Our denominator stays the same because we know that's not going to change. Our numerators, though, we have thirds. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3, now I'm going to number 3, my third whole, 9 thirds. And remember, we can check this because 9 divided by 3, 9 split into thirds, gives you 3 wholes. 6 split into 3 gives you 2 wholes. And 3 split into 3 gives you 1 whole. All right? So now we actually already found 6/3 here, right? 6/3 was with our 2, so we can check that off. Now, to find 8/3, we can look at our number line and use what we already filled in to help us. So we start with 3/3, then we went up 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. Okay, so we have 6/3. Our next third gives us 7. And now 8. 8/3 right here. That's how we find fractions on the number line. Okay, real quick, this is how you would do it on another number line. We have to find 5 2s or 5 halves and 7 halves. So I like to think how many halves we have in 2 wholes. And I see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 halves. Now I remember that we have to find 5 halves. And if we have 4 halves here, 1 more half gives us 5. Now let's go to our next point. That would give us 6 halves. And we could check this by drawing our 3 wholes. Perfect. 2, 4, 6. And last but not least, 7 halves right here. So that's how we find fractions on the number line. So now that you've watched this video, you're going to move on to the exit ticket, where you're going to have to answer questions about finding fractions on a number line. Okay? Good luck. Get to work, mathematicians.